Hello everybody, I'm back here with another video, and in this video I'm going to do my best to be as quiet as I can because it's really early in the morning. But this is my part 2 to the last message. After this video I will be taking a break from social media before I expose these really deep truths, okay? So we got some sage in the building. My favorite sage is honestly white sage. I love white sage. I love the smell of it. I love how it relaxes my nervous system. But this in general is, I think this is like black sage. I think they just probably just spray painted it or something. I got this from Five and Below. I don't mind Five and Below sage, but I would rather purchase sage from like smoke shops or you know wholesalers or stuff like that because it just seems more pure to me. And this actually smells really good. So the way to sage yourself, just smudge yourself all around your body. Just have fun with it. Listen to your own intuition. But saging is good for getting rid of negative energy and creating a positive atmosphere, as well as smudging, which is what it's really called. It has a lot of medical and health benefits too. But in general, I would like the public to realize that most of the diseases and sicknesses and illnesses, it comes from stress. A lot of it comes from stress and a lot of it comes from poor eating habits, but majority of the time it comes from stress. When you take stress out of the equation, then you can formulate a solution. A lot of people, we have been in survival mode, deep in survival mode. And out of that survival mode, it created a lot of unclean spirits. It created a lot of greed. And in this video, we will be talking about it. If you are a chosen one, and some people are unaware that they are chosen ones too, but there is a group of people that know exactly who you are, even if you don't know who you are, even if you are in denial of who you are. There are people that still know who you are. Even when you are unaware of your true identity, there are people that are still aware of your true identity. And this, in fact, makes you a target. They tried to sacrifice us, y'all. People tried to sacrifice us for fame, for fortune, for beauty, for fertility, for wealth, spiritual protection, for our spiritual gifts, for our spiritual inheritance, for our physical inheritance, for assets, for our position, for our ambition, because they viewed us as competition and they wanted to get us out the way in order for them to thrive. The amount of hate and envy that people have in this world is completely insane. It's very inhumane. Like I said in my other video, the reason why they went so hard to fight up against us and to do what they did against us, whatever they was doing, smear campaigns, trying to make us look crazy, trying to make us, like, the information in our gifts seem incredible, is because they are copycats of us. These same people that don't like us, these same people that envy us, these same people that's jealous of us, these same people that stay running their mouth about us, is the same people that are inspired by us. They're the same people. Every time we post up our craft, they're up underneath our craft. If they're not underneath our craft publicly, they're underneath our craft privately. They are inspired by us. We are their creative source. When they get writer's block, they come to us to get inspired. But the thing is, they want it to look like they did it all by themselves. They don't want to give us our flowers and they don't want to give us our credit. They want to make it seem like they did everything by themselves. We are the original and they are the copycat. But they are the copycat. They would want to make it seem like they're the original and we're the copycat. That's what the true destiny swap is about. Have y'all ever, but I can say the amount of people that steal from me energetically, physically, my whole life I've been dealing with this. People stealing man from me, money, clothes, opportunities, trends, hairstyles, fashion, creative projects. People just be stealing. Not original at all. Every time I have a hairstyle or something, it's like I set a whole trend. But they don't give me my credit though. If I'm rocking a blue lace front or something like that, all of a sudden everybody start rocking a blue lace front. But they don't give me my credit though. They make it seem like I'm not the creator of the trend. You hear me? They tried to sacrifice us. So they have this book, right? They have like this grimoire. And in this grimoire, it has like prophetic things in it. In this grimoire, it talks about the chosen ones and it talks about certain prophecies and it talks about things that will happen that will show that the prophecy is near and things like that. And so these people are so evil and wicked. They think by sacrificing a chosen one, like it's holy, like they think it's holy. If you want a visual representation of this, watch the TV show The Originals and pay attention to the witch, that 16-year-old witch. I forgot her name, but it started with a D. And she was the one that broke the cycle because they kept like sacrificing the witches, like for their powers and stuff like that. This is the same thing that goes on in real life. They sacrifice people for their powers, and it's just some weird old traditional stuff going on. These people are murderers, and they've been getting away with it for too long. They tried to take me out, and now they trying to like say, "Oh, we don't have evidence of that incident report you made back then." They tried to take me out. Not only do they try to take people out for life insurance, so there's multiple people that's in this, right? There's a group of people that's in this. So there's people that try to take a specific person out for their beauty. They want their beauty. They want to get them out of the way because they view them as a threat. They want their position. They want their soulmate. They want their children. They want their ambition. They want their life in general. It's a real lifetime movie, y'all. They want their spiritual gifts, their spiritual protection. They want their DNA, their genetics, their womb, their identity. But there's other people that just want to take them out for assets. There's people that take people out for life insurance policies. Yeah, these people are so grimy that they would plan your demise and show up to your funeral crying. Whole time they was the ones that did it. Some people want like our sacral chakra, which is our sexual energy. Some people want to harvest that energy from us. They want our anointing. They want the spiritual protection that we have, the spiritual guidance that we have. And they feel like the way to do it is by taking us out. And that's not the way to do it. You see, the people who took out the original person, they thought taking out the original would make their life get better. But nah, it didn't. Now they walking around with a guilty conscience being hunted by the things that they have done every single day. They thought taking out that person would stop that person. But now that person has been hunting them. That's what ghosts are. Ghosts are spirits that are earthbound. And a lot of times the reason why they are bounded to earth, one specific reason, is because they have unhealed trauma still on earth from their past life. If they were taken out in an angry and vicious type of way, they're still here roaming on earth, trying to figure out what happened to them, trying to get justice for what happened to them. They thought taking certain people out would be the best way to go, not knowing that them same people that they took out is going to come back and hunt them. If you want a visual representation of this, watch the movie, the TV show Ghost Whisperer, and pay attention to that one episode of that old guy who got hunted by all them ghosts that he took out. They hunted him and they made him have a heart attack. Spirits have power like that. Angry spirits have power like that. Yeah. And people are still doing work on these people. They do work on us while we are here in the earthly plane, and even after we transcend too. That's how afraid of our power they are. But let me get into some of these schemes, okay? Once again, for the perpetrators, I don't want anything from you guys but whistleblowing protection and financial compensation. That's it and that's all. And for y'all to leave me alone, I've been asking y'all to leave me alone for years, but you refuse to. So, okay, if you don't want to leave me alone, my spirit's gonna come after you. And you're gonna have no choice but to leave me alone. And if they don't come after you, if you put the protection up, you have somebody in your inner circle who doesn't have protection. So that's who they're gonna come after. It's no more mercy. You have no mercy on me, so I don't got no mercy on you either. You said F me, so it's F you. I don't care about you or your feelings because you never cared about mine. So there has been notable cases where psychiatrists intentionally misdiagnose patients, leading to serious legal consequences. So the first case is the Medicare fraud, and this is Dr. Isaac Kojo Anakwa Thompson. Dr. Thompson, based in Delray Beach, Florida, pled guilty to healthcare fraud for falsely diagnosing hundreds of patients to submit fraudulent Medicare claims. His actions were part of a broader scheme to exploit the healthcare system for financial gain. Dr. Ashok Jain unnecessarily treatments and false claims. Dr. Jain and his associated clinics in Texas were involved in pressuring patients into unnecessary medical treatments and falsifying treatment records. They submitted false claims to Medicare for services that were either not provided or deemed worthless. The case came to light after whistleblowers filed the lawsuit under the False Claims Act. The third lawsuit was Biscayne Malawi Mental Health Clinic $55 million fraud scheme. A therapist at Biscayne, Malawi, a Miami-based mental health clinic was sentenced to 10 years in prison for participating in a massive Medicare fraud scheme. The clinic submitted false claims for mental health services that were either unnecessary or never provided. These cases highlight the importance of ethical practices in psychiatry and the severe consequences of exploiting patients for financial gain. Dr. Riaz Mascari, 158 million fraud scheme. Dr. Riaz Mascari, a Houston area psychiatrist, was convicted for his role in a $158 million Medicare fraud scheme. He falsely diagnosed patients with mental illnesses and prescribed unnecessary treatment to bill Medicare for services that were either not provided or medically unnecessary. Dr. Zahid Imran, $258 million fraud scheme. Louisiana psychiatrist was sentenced to over 7 years in prison for his involvement in a $258 million Medicare fraud scheme. He and his co-conspirators submitted false claims for partial hospitalization, psychiatric services that were not medically necessary or not provided at all. Okay, y'all, I wanted to talk about these psychiatry schemes because this is what these psychiatrists are doing. If you have spiritual gifts and you're just a chosen one, like your ancestors chose you, God chose you to carry out light in this lifetime, to carry out truth, to be the bearer of light. You have opposition. And a lot of these oppositions is these psychiatrists, is atheists, is these religious individuals. You know, they don't understand you. They don't want to understand you, or they're just very envious and they're very jealous because you're chosen. But a lot of these people that these psychiatrists went up against and did all these things to, and these people that were victims of these psychiatrists, and I want to let you guys know, a lot of these psychiatrists that did these things, they was just puppets. They had a puppet master. They was just a pawn in the game. But there was somebody above them that was orchestrating all of this. But these psychiatrists, what they do is they target people that have spiritual gifts and they throw them into psych wards and they throw them into jail and they throw them into hospitals or they throw them into graveyards, cemeteries, and stuff like that. They are so afraid of our spiritual gifts. They are so afraid of my ancestors, the same ancestors they've been trying to get rid of for generations that keep coming back. They're afraid of them. They're always scheming on how to get rid of us, how to silence us. And this is one of the ways that they have been doing it, making people feel like they're crazy. These people have been going to these psychiatrists for help, but these psychiatrists can't help them. A lot of these psychiatrists, these therapists, these doctors, they can't help nobody because all they know is textbook information. They don't got real life experience. They ain't never been in the field. They ain't never struggled in their life. They ain't never been through nothing but got the audacity to have people life in their hands. A lot of these people don't even got empathy. A lot of these people are just greedy, accept money to do anything. No morals at all, no integrity, no soul. So the next topic is the sub rosa operations, and that's spelled SUBROSA. This is covert or secret missions, often carried out by intelligence agencies, military units, or shadow networks. The term sub rosa is Latin for under the rose, an ancient symbol of secrecy and silence. In ancient Rome and Greece, a rose hanging from the ceiling meant that everything said beneath it was to be kept confidential. It was like secret meetings. It was like a secret society, a cult. And not all secret societies are bad. There are some secret societies where people, like for instance, they had a sister circle where all the oracles came together. This is what the Salem witch trials was about, to get rid of the sister circle because they were afraid of the high priestesses and the healers and the holistic woman and the shamanic woman and just, the medicine woman. They've always been afraid of her. That's why they burnt her at the stake. But we have laws to protect us against that. So everything that they're doing to try to harm us in this lifetime is illegal. But the sister circles were destined to just keep, sacred information and pass down certain traditions. But there are other circles that are just destructive to humanity. So the sub rosa operations involve covert surveillance, psychological operations, psyop, false flag events, disinformation campaigns, assassinations or accidental unalivings, political destabilization, mind control or experimental tech, MK Ultra, Project Artichoke. These operations are usually deniable, meaning governments or agencies can disavow them if exposed. They are often tied to deep state activities like budget programs or classified agendas that bypass public accountability. And then it talks about examples of operations. So they have Operation Gladio, and this was behind the scenes during the Cold War, and it involved political manipulation and staged terror events. Then we have MK Ultra, which was a CIA mind control experiments involving drugs, hypnosis, and trauma. Then we have the COINTEL program that I told you guys about, where the FBI surveillance infiltrated and destabilized people that were fighting for civil rights. Sub rosa operations reflect hidden power structures, often working against liberation movements, whistleblowers, or free thinkers. Spiritually, they represent the shadow aspect of power, where light is distorted and the truth is manipulated. So here's a prayer and an affirmation. No hidden agenda shall prosper in my presence. I walk with discernment, protected by truth and divine intelligence. What is done in secret shall be revealed. I am awake, aware, and unafraid. And so it is. Here's a protection prayer right here. Divine light surrounds me, protecting my body and soul. I am safe from harm, and I am protected from all forces seen and unseen. Technology and All its form serves me, but it cannot control or harm me. I stand strong in my power and I trust a divine plan for humanity's evolution. My spirit is free, my mind is clear, and I am grounded in divine peace. And then this is the prayer I tried to give y'all the other day. This is a prayer for like to protect you, your children, and if you like your future children, like your spirit babies, if you know about spirit babies. For me, I've been connected with my spirit babies since I was a teenager. They've been trying to come through my womb, my portal, but the dad isn't ready yet. The dad isn't up to spiritually par yet. I haven't The masculine hasn't rose up to the equation yet. The masculine is still underneath toxic cycles and stuff like that. So this is why I have not had my baby yet. My baby is not ready to come through because the dad is still involved in toxic cycles. But the ops that I tell you guys about that are afraid of our power, our spiritual power, they are afraid of our babies too. So sometimes they attack our womb. They try to make us have deformed babies, unhealthy babies. So this is why it's important to protect your womb, pray over your womb, do yoni cleansing, yoni steams, all of that. You could put selenite over your womb. You could put black tourmaline over your womb. Pray over your womb. Eat clean. Cleanse your body. Because they are afraid of your future children. And if you have children already, they be attacking your children because they're afraid of who your child is going to become in the future. So watch your babies. They try to inflict a lot of harm and trauma on the babies so the babies don't awaken to their power. Same thing that they did to us. They're afraid of my future children, so they attack my womb and try to bind my womb. But you can't stop what God destined. You cannot. And the reason why they're afraid of these babies so much is because these babies are reincarnations of the same ancient ones that they keep trying to get rid of. These babies are coming in these earthly planes with so much powers and so much spiritual gifts because God made it to be that way. Because they got rid of the last prophets and prophetess. They keep getting rid of our leaders. So God has to keep sending more and more into the earth to raise the vibration of this earthly plane and of humanity's consciousness. And I understand some people are afraid of this information, and that's why secrecy is important sometimes, and sacredness is important. Everybody don't deserve access to this information. So here's a prayer. Divine Creator, source of all that is good, I call upon your sacred light to surround me, my loved ones, and all who will be a part of my journey. Wrap us in your divine protection. Shield us from harm, negativity, and any forces that seek to disrupt our peace, our happiness, and our growth. Surround me with your light, a barrier of divine strength and compassion, so that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. No harm can reach us, no darkness can touch us. Guide us in the path of righteousness. Keep us safe and secure in your love. For my loved ones, may they be shielded from harm. May they be filled with peace, and may they walk in the light of truth. So it is. So this is a prayer for divine judgment against enemies known and unknown. Divine creator, source of all justice and truth. I come before you today with a heart seeking justice for all the enemies who have sought to harm me, whether they are known or unknown to me. I trust in your divine wisdom and power, and I ask that you bring your judgment upon all forces that stand against me. I call upon your righteous justice to bring balance to the wrongs that have been done, to those who have acted with malice, deceit, or ill will against me and against those I hold dear. May your divine truth shine upon all hidden intentions, exposing all that is done in the darkness and restoring order in your light. Divine Creator, I ask that you protect me from any attack, whether it be physical, emotional, or financial, or spiritual, and that you release me from all harm caused by my enemies. Bring your judgment swiftly with fairness and mercy, so that the forces that work against me are rendered powerless, and the path to my peace, abundance, and healing is cleared. And so it is. What are electromagnetic weapons? Electromagnetic weapons use energy like radio waves, just frequencies in general. Microwaves or lasers do things that mess with electronics or cause discomfort to people. They can be used in different ways depending on the type of weapon. Microwave weapons, these weapons use microwaves like the ones in the microwave oven to hurt electronics. They can fry the circuits in things like computers, phones, and even vehicles, making them stop working. Directed energy weapons, DEWS, these weapons focus energy sometimes as a laser or microwave in a specific direction to either burn or damage something. They can be used to destroy things like drones or even vehicles. Electromagnetic pulse EMP. EMP weapon sends out a burst of energy that can knock out all of the electronics in a certain area. It can cause power outages and stop anything with a computer or electronics from working. Active denial system. This is a non-lethal weapon that uses microwave-like energy to make people feel very hot and uncomfortable, forcing them to move away. It's used in crowd control, but it isn't supposed to cause permanent harm. Psychotronic weapons, mind control. These are more speculative and controversial. Some believe these weapons use energy to control or influence people's thoughts or actions. However, there's no solid proof that these exist. These weapons send out energy waves like microwaves or lasers to affect things. For example, a microwave weapon might zap a computer and make it stop. Working on a directed energy weapon might cause pain or heat to make someone move away. The goal can be to disable electronics, hurt people without unaliving them, or even cause confusion or discomfort. Some electromagnetic weapons can cause burns, headaches, or other physical problems if you're exposed to them. Some people worry that these weapons could be used to control what people may think or do, though there's no proof of that happening. There are concerns that individuals could use these weapons to spy on or control individuals, especially if they could disable phones on cameras. Financial compensation, remain that financial compensation. So I asked, what are some examples of smear campaigns? A smear campaign is when someone deliberately spreads false or misleading information to damage someone's reputation, often with personal, political, or financial gain. It's a type of character assassination intended to make the target look bad in the eyes of others. Here are some examples. Someone starts a rumor that a colleague is stealing from the workplace. Even though it's untrue, the goal is to damage the person's career or relationships with coworkers. Why it's harmful. This can cause distress, lead to job loss, or damage personal relationships. The second one is manipulating the media. A politician's rival plants a fake story with the media, claiming the politician was involved in a scandalous affair or criminal activity. Even after the stories are disproven, the initial smear has already damaged the public image. The media often spreads the story widely, and by the time it's debunked, this damage is already done. A person posts a series of manipulative or doctored photos on social media, making someone appear to be acting inappropriately or engaging in unethical behavior. Hashtags and fake accounts might be used to spread the attack further. Social media can spread false information quickly, and once it's out, it can be difficult to fully clear someone's name. Someone hacks into a person's private records or social media accounts and releases personal details or false information about their relationship, mental health, or financial status. It violates the person's privacy and can lead to public humiliation or emotional distress. A partner in a relationship spreads rumors about the other person being unfaithful, violent, or dishonest, even though these things aren't true. This kind of attack can cause emotional damage, break up relationships, and isolate the target from their friends and family. A competitor in business posts fake negative reviews about someone's product or service, calling it unsafe or ineffective, even when a product is actually high quality. It can harm someone's business reputation and impact sales or customer trust. A coworker starts gossiping about another coworker's personal life, spreading exaggerated stories to make them appear incompetent or untrustworthy to others in the office. This can isolate the person socially or professionally, affecting their relationships and career. Someone exaggerates a minor mistake, like being late to work once, and makes it seem like the person is irresponsible or lazy. The exaggeration makes the target seem unreliable or incapable, and others may start to view them in a negative light based on that isolated event. The effects of smear campaign: emotional and psychological toll. Targets can feel betrayed, isolated, or distressed, especially when a campaign involves personal attacks or false rumors. Rebuilding a reputation after a smear campaign can take years, and in some cases, it might never fully recover. Smear campaigns can cost people their jobs or destroy careers, particularly if they involve false accusations or unethical behavior or criminal acts. Gaslighting is a tactic that they use where someone makes another person question their own perception of reality, leading them to doubt their feelings, thoughts, and memories. Emotional blackmail, using someone's emotions like guilt or fear to control their behavior. Love bombing, excessive affection and attention to manipulate or control another person, often in the beginning stage of a relationship. So these are legal cases of gang stalking, stalking, cyber stalking. So the first case we have Willie Dennis, former law firm partner convicted of cyber stalking. In October 2022, Willie was convicted of cyber stalking three former colleagues at his law firm. He sent thousands of harassing and threatening messages, including threats to their physical safety and racist insults. Each count carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. The second case we have is David Waldman, an extensive cyber stalking campaign. He was sentenced to over 4 years in prison in January 2019 for a 4-year cyber stalking campaign against his former ex-girlfriend. He sent hundreds of threatening messages and made false claims about her and surveillance her online activities. We're going to get back into that one later because I dive deeper into that one. The third one is Marshall Nicholas Fame. The crime was cyber stalking and threatening ex-girlfriend as well. In January 2023, Fame was sentenced to 46 months in prison for cyber stalking and unaliving threats to his ex-girlfriend and her family through social media and email. Fourth one was Ian Diaz, Deputy U.S. Marshal convicted of cyber stalking and conspiracy. In March 2023, the deputy was convicted of conspiracy to commit cyberstalking, perjury, and obstruction. He and his then wife orchestrated a smear campaign to frame his ex-girlfriend by sending themselves threatening messages and staging hoax SAs. Lester E. Brown, cyberstalking leading to unaliving. In May 2023, Lester Brown was found guilty of leading a cyberstalking conspiracy that resulted in unaliving a rival. He used tracking devices to locate the victim and unalived him in front of his 8-year-old daughter. David Joel, life sentence for serial stalking. David Joel was sentenced to life in prison in September 2023 after being convicted of felony stalking, harassment, and 24 counts of terroristic threatening. He continued to harass his victims even while serving a prior prison sentence, using other inmates' information to send messages. So the second case I said we was going to go back to, which was David Waldman's case. So for 4 years, he was targeting his ex-girlfriend with relentless campaign of harassment, threats, and smear campaigns and defamation, utilizing various online platforms and communication methods. After they broke up, he began sending the victim hundreds of emails, text messages, and voicemails. His messages included false accusations, claims that she had been diagnosed with mental health disorders, used that stuff, and fabricated stories of childhood essay, made repeated threats to appear uninvited at her apartment and office and to injure, torture, and essay her. Emails sent to her employers accusing her of being a habitual blank user and threatening legal action for various alleged offenses, including created blog pages dedicated to her, with her employers' names, photographs of her. He got 50 months in jail and he had to pay $50,000 to his ex-girlfriend. And they shared the daughter together. Okay, so this topic is, what is spiritual trafficking? I came to find out about this term recently, um, on my quest for truth. So, spiritual trafficking refers to the spiritual exchange or sale of a person's essence, gifts, or destiny to benefit others, often family members, occult groups, or institutions. The use of rituals, covenants, contracts, or lineages to claim control over someone's spiritual life force or divine path. The mimicry or duplication of someone's energy, name, birthright, or creative essence by another party, often for fame, money, or power. These are signs that you've been spiritually trafficked. You feel drained or like your life is not your own. You're always feel watched, targeted. People know you before you know them. Repeating trauma patterns, especially from childhood. A natural stagnation in your life despite your gifts. Feeling disconnected from your name, family, or origins. Having dreams or visions of rituals, symbols, cages, or spiritual contracts. Feeling a strong pull away from your birth family or realizing they may have offered you up in some way. I feel like some of my family members did that. Yeah, because a lot of them always been envious of me. My dad's side of the family, they a bit big bone. Not all of them, but majority of them are big bone. And they used to bully me for being skinny, which created insecurities in me when I was younger. And that's when I started trying to take like weight gain supplements and stuff like that. But then I started my self love journey and I realized I'm beautiful the way that I am. But they used to bully me and stuff for being skinny. They all each bullied me for something different and treated me in that manner, down to the kids. Because the kids was used to me being treated like that, so they treated me like that too. So how does it begin? Some children is unknowingly offered to spirits, cults, or secret societies for spiritual gain. This can happen in abusive or narcissistic households even without physical rituals. Your name or bloodline may be used in spiritual systems like Freemasonry, secret societies, or certain cults where energy is harvested or swapped. Celebrity systems. Some entertainment and political systems are fueled by spiritual mimicry, copying, harvesting, or cloning gifted souls for fame or energy. If you share a name or vibration with someone in that system, it's not a coincidence. I told y'all. I freaking told y'all. I told y'all this. Didn't I tell y'all? This is not for me to accuse anyone and everyone that is involved, but I know there's somebody that is, the perpetrator in this case. I told y'all. So here's an affirmation to break those chains. I break and renounce every spiritual contract made without my knowledge or consent. I reclaim my soul, destiny, and divine inheritance. I belong to God and to no one else, and so it is. Do spiritual cleanses like black walnut baths, eggs cleanses, or smoke cleansing with herbs. Sleep with crystals like black obsidian, amethyst, selenite. Pray and declare. Use powerful verses like Psalm 91, Isaiah 54:17 to protect your energy. Stay silent or hidden if needed. Sometimes spiritual trafficking is broken when you're in the dark. Let your healing happen quietly while God exposes what's been done. This is not talked about often, but more and more chosen ones are waking up to it. You are not alone in what you've experienced. Okay, now the next topic is going to be legal cases that regards witchcraft and cult stuff. So there have been legal cases where people were charged but are sued in connection with ritualistic abuse, spiritual exploitation, or practices framed as quote unquote witchcraft. Witchcraft itself is not a crime in the U.S. Actions like physical abuse, psychological coercion, or financial exploitation that occur under the guise of ritual or spiritual practice can be prosecuted under assault or battery, child abuse, false imprisonment, fraud or coercion, or hate crimes. In some countries, witchcraft is still criminalized, and people, especially women, are accused of it and jailed or harmed. I personally feel like this isn't right because it's like people are taking away people's rights to practice their culture and the freedom of religion and the freedom of spirituality. However, it is not right if people are harming innocent people or harming themselves, but people have a right to spiritually protect themselves and their loved ones and to practice freedom of religion. So the first case is in the UK, and this is Christy Bamu case, and it's a 15-year-old boy, and he was tortured by his sister and her partner after being accused of doing witchcraft, and they subjected him to a brutal deliverance ceremony and unalived him. Both were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. I'm sorry, y'all. I know some of this stuff is really deep, and I understand it's deep for me to even have to reveal it. The second one is the Cornwall abuse case in 2012. Two men were convicted of SAing people, um, a part of a witch's coven. They conducted ritualistic ceremonies and claimed to be practicing white witchcraft. They got lengthy prison sentences. Yeah, because a lot of people like to use religion too to do abusive stuff. There's this case I heard about where this woman was getting abused by this man and her family, and the person that was supposed to protect her, the woman, was saying, they both was like saying, well, if you want to go to heaven, forgive that person. They use religion to abuse people too. That's not right. Y'all need to have some common sense out here. So the third one is Papua New Guinea sorcery accusation case. This is in 2025. So a man was sentenced to 5 years in prison for falsely accusing a woman of sorcery, and she ended up getting unalived by a mob because of his accusation. Number four, faith-based child abuse in England. Over the past decade, thousands of children in England have suffered abuse linked to faith or belief, often related to witchcraft and spirit possession accusations. And then something tragic happened to one of them in 2000, and it brought attention to all of this and allowed, the authorities to actually intervene and allow these people to get the justice that they were deserving of. In 2018, a group of witches in New York organized a public hexing ritual against Supreme Court Justice individual. While no legal action was taken, the event sparked discussions about the boundaries of free speech and religious expression. In the 1990s in Sweden, a 15-year-old girl told her story about her and her younger sister and how her parents was like doing like rituals on them and other innocent children and stuff like that and selling them and stuff like that. I don't want to go too deep in that one. That's a little bit too deep. I might start crying or something. Another one is a 7-year-old girl was unalived during an exorcism ritual by the members of a gospel church. Teenage girl was unalived by relatives during an exorcism, accused of being possessed. Another individual unalived a homeless person to obtain a human skull, and they called themselves a high priest. An 18-year-old girl was set on fire during a ritual, and they said that it was a sacrifice. In Zambia, 2024, plot to harm the president via witchcraft. Two men were arrested for allegedly using witchcraft to harm the president. The suspects were found with various charms, including a live chameleon. They were hired by somebody to target the president. They faced multiple charges, including practicing witchcraft and cruelty to animals. Another one has to do with body parts because they said that body parts bring wealth and luck. And so they targeted somebody and they were convicted. This is what they were trying to do to some of us. You have to pray divine protection over your life every single day and your children's life. And even if you have the heart to do it, just extend peace into the atmosphere, into the earth for other people, for innocent people. I think this is in 1980s, 1990s, the McMartin preschool trial. Daycare workers were accused of performing rituals and abusing children because they were in the cult, the evil one. Another one, she unalived her husband for a ritual. One was in 2008, and a group of individuals were accused of committing human unaliving under the belief they were part of a cult as a religious offering. This is still going on. This is kind of scary. I don't like this stuff. This is in 2000. This is in India. And it was a young woman that was unalived by a group of individuals who believed they were performing a human unaliving to appease evil spirits. They were convicted. Okay, and for the last part, we're going to talk about having a spiritual awakening and why it makes you a target. Don't think of it as a curse, though. Think of it as a blessing, too, because you have discernment to protect yourself against stuff like this. This is some crazy lunatic stuff. And people are operating like this actually in the real world. And people are being targeted by these people. And we bump shoulders with people like this every day. You never know where somebody's mindset is at. That's why you gotta pray, you gotta stick to your morals, you have to be aware, and you have to pay attention. And y'all can cash at me too. My cash app is Chosen Aquarian 6. Because I know this may come with a lot of backlash. They was doing witch trials and doing witch hunts, but these cases I'm talking about, these the real witches. People that's using herbs to heal themselves, to protect themselves spiritually from energy like this, those would be considered healers. The cases I just talked about, those are witches. So when you undergo a spiritual awakening, your energy vibrates at a different frequency. This can create friction between your energy and the energy of people who are stuck in lower vibrational states, unaware or resistant to personal growth. As you elevate your consciousness, some individuals may feel threatened by this shift, especially if they are not on a similar journey or if they are uncomfortable with the changes they see in you. They may unconsciously or consciously project negativity, envy, or even hostility because they feel exposed by your clarity and your growth. People who are not spiritually awake often find comfort in familiar patterns, whether those are personal, cultural, or societal. As you awaken, you start challenging these norms, exposing false beliefs or behaviors, and living authentically. This disrupts the status quo, and for some, this is seen as a threat. Those who are not ready to face the truth may try to silence or push back against you, leading to harassment or attempts to undermine your peace. Spiritual awakenings often bring forth tests not only from within but also from external sources. It is as though the universe or divine energy is presenting challenges to help you strengthen your resolve, deepen your faith, and become more resilient. The more you align with your purpose, the more your boundaries are tested. You may face opposition for people, situations, or forces trying to throw you off course to see if you will waver. I'm sorry, y'all. On a spiritual path, many people also start to heal generational trauma and karmic patterns. If you experience abuse or mistreatment in the past and you're working to break those cycles, you may encounter resistance from people or systems that are connected to those old patterns. The energies of control, fear, and manipulation might manifest as harassment, oppression, because they are trying to hold your spiritual power. This is particularly true when you start reclaiming your power and breaking free from these cycles. As you grow spiritually, you may unintentionally trigger the shadow or suppress parts of others. People who are not yet ready to face their own wounds or who have unresolved issues may project their insecurities, anger, or fear onto you. Your growth, light, and authenticity can trigger those around you who are not ready to confront their own darkness. This can lead to feelings of jealousy, guilt, or shame in others, resorting to negative behaviors against you, like directed towards you. In many spiritual traditions, there's a recognition that as you walk the path of light, you will inevitably encounter darkness. This is not to say that you are doomed to hardship, but rather that the challenges you face serve to help you refine your strength, character, and wisdom. When you align more closely with your spiritual purpose, the forces of negativity may appear stronger as they want to keep you from fully stepping into your power. It's part of the spiritual battle between light and dark, growth and resistance. Some believe that when individuals awaken spiritually, they take on a role as a light bearer or way shower. This means that by embodying higher consciousness, you can inspire others to awaken too. But that also means you may face intense challenges. You may be seen as a mirror to others, showing them aspects of themselves they're unwilling to confront. People may react negatively because they don't yet have the courage. Thank you for tuning in. This was a deep message, and I'm sorry for the dark ones that I had to expose this. But I just asked for you guys to leave me alone. That's it. I just want you guys to leave me alone and to leave me at peace. But you refused to leave me alone, so I had to expose this. I'm sorry. Because why did you target me? Why did you keep messing with me? If you go back to the witch movies back in the past, they attacked innocent people. They need an innocent heart. They need an innocent people. But I say stop using innocent people and start using your own people. We don't want to be a part of your guys' ceremonies. And this is why spiritual protection is important. Learn how to spiritually protect yourself because people are out here scavenging. And it's not fair. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. If you would like to cash out me, please do that today. I will have a GoFundMe in the future. Please don't come after me.